Hello and welcome to the Redmen TV. It is our transfer latest show powered by Snickers Protein. We'll be here most days in the run-up to deadline day live itself. And with thanks to Snickers Protein, of course, and thank you for opening up the fan line as well. So if you want to get involved, tweet us at the Redmen TV using your hashtag fanline. We're putting a tweet out every single day where you can get your questions in regarding Liverpool's latest transfer rumours. If you just want to have a little bit of a vent, a little bit of a moan, maybe we can play agony amp with you. We're here to do that as well. So thank you to Snickers Protein for that one. And of course, we will have three really meaty news subjects to get into today. So first and foremost, we're going to be discussing Jurgen Klopp and his comments after the game and in the press conference regarding Liverpool's transfer policy. We will be discussing Mbappe and his desire or contract talks as well with PSG, his desire to move on and his contract talks with PSG. And we will be discussing a reported, rumoured interest in Declan Rice from Liverpool Football Club, which is quite interesting. Don't forget as well, though, before we get into the stories, before we get into your fan line questions, we will be talking and involved heavily, I might add, in Deadline Day Live over on the Ball Street YouTube channel on Deadline Day itself, both me and Paul, and we are going to be massively involved in that, so get over there for the YouTube channel over on Ball Street. So the big story, of course, is Jurgen Klopp and what he said after the game. Now, I'm reading from Team Talk as it stands. And Klopp said, these decisions are not my decisions when talking about the transfer policy. If somebody thinks we should do something, I cannot decide if we do something in the transfer market or not. That must be clear. But that is not something I am thinking about. It's just with this group, we can play much better. That is my concern. That is what I'm thinking about. The confidence is not on the highest level. That is so obvious. You can see that in the matches in specific moments. And there's loads of people sort of losing their head about all of this type of stuff, really, because I think everyone was basically saying, is Klopp throwing FSG under the bus? Is that what it is? And it's the transfer policy and Michael Edwards and everything else. And thankfully, Carl Markham asked him in today's press conference pre-Manchester United to sort of clarify his words from last night against Burnley. And this is what Klopp said verbatim. Of course, somebody else is making the decisions. It was always like this. People are surprised about that, but I cannot change that. It's just the situation we have. Is we discuss pretty much on a daily basis. That's our job. Actually, you think about, could we improve something or not? And I make recommendations and all these kind of things, but I cannot spend the money. So that's how it is. So that's why I don't make the decisions, and I never did. And then Carl said, is it reliant on someone telling you you have money to spend? And Jurgen said, exactly. Is that news to you? And Carl said, no, it's not, blah, blah, blah. And then Jurgen said, look, I didn't want to confuse anyone last night, and hopefully we've clarified it now. So I think everybody was probably, for me anyway, just a little bit ahead of the curve, as it were. I don't think this is Jurgen throwing FSG under the bus in any way. And, you know, if Jurgen's got a problem with FSG, then I'm sure he's the type of person that would let it be known. But the way that his mannerisms were, and I'd absolutely recommend going and watching this press conference, because he's laughing and joking at the time. Like, he's almost dumbfounded as to why people are actually sort of like, what are you talking about? Like, I've never made the decisions. We have a transfer committee. Everybody should kind of know that. And this is what he's sort of referencing, I think, but that's my opinion, of course. And he's sort of saying, look, we have a transfer committee and we have budgets and we have to work within those budgets. And I think that's what he's trying to say here. And he says, he didn't come across like he was angry in the press conference today. And as I say, I do definitely recommend going and checking it out, because it put me at ease anyway, because I was a little bit like that last night. So I was like, is he speaking out of line a little bit here? And I don't think he is. And I'm glad that we can sort of clarify that ourselves here, and we're able to give our opinions on things. And of course, let me know yours in the comments section, because there has been a lot of talk, after a defeat about FSG, far more than it warrants, because we can't just erase the last 3 years, can we? What FSG and Jurgen Klopp and Michael Edwards and all the players have done for us, because we've had nay, 5 bad results pretty much on the bounce. The second story, of course, is Kylian Mbappe, and this story isn't going away, is it, anytime soon, to be honest with you. And Leonardo, the PSG manager, was asked about the contract situation, and he said, look, we're begging him to stay. It's a little bit more detailed than that, he went on to say, but that's it. He says, but sources have told ESPN that Mbappe is very much pondering his future right now, whether he stays or leaves Paris. He says his dream is and always has been to play for Real Madrid, but he knows that the Spanish champions, like all the top European clubs, have been hit really hard by the pandemic, and they cannot afford him right now. The financial strain rings even more true, according to ESPN, for Liverpool, where the Frenchman will be keen to play as well. But Mbappe knows now that extending his contract at PSG is probably the best option right now, though the whole situation is clearly weighing on his mind, which is quite interesting in and of itself, I think, because, you know, everybody wants Mbappe through the door, and there's loads of people talking about Haaland online and stuff like that, and absolutely, but I think when we're not even signing a centre-half, to get ahead of ourselves and start thinking about dropping 160 million quid on Kylian Mbappe just seems like a bit far-fetched, and that irritates me, because I think, you know, had we not gone through this pandemic, and you know, and we're not at the end of it yet by any stretch, you know, it's still as bad as it possibly could be. You know, Liverpool, I think, would have spent from a position of strength. Right now, I think we're erring on the side of cautious, because we don't know what the future holds. And I think right now, if I'm being honest, in my opinion, that is hindering our Premier League performance this season, because I think Liverpool badly do need to sign a centre-half if we harbour ambitions of winning the title this season. That's just my opinion. And the third rumour, and it is just a rumour, I might add, it's from the Guardian's transfer rumours page, is that Chelsea are considering a move for Declan Rice, and West Ham have marked his price down. So right now it looks like in the summer he could be available for 50 million, which is like 30 million less than what West Ham wanted last summer. But apparently Manchester City and Liverpool are also potentially interested in Declan Rice, which is an interesting one, isn't it? Because obviously he's a defensive midfielder who could also play centre half. You know, young English, helps with the quota of English talent and stuff like that as well. So, and you know, tall as well, big, strong. So I don't know whether Liverpool, this wouldn't surprise me if Liverpool were interested in Declan Rice, because I think he's a really, really good player, to be honest with you. I know he gets a little bit of stick here and there, but I do think he's a really good player, and I wonder whether actually, you know, he's ready to take that step up in his career, because I think he probably is. And, you know, when Manchester City and Chelsea and Liverpool are all looking at him, it says that they think so as well. But we're going to get into some of the fan line questions and stuff now as well that have been sent in on Twitter. Remember, Snickers Protein are powering this. So if you want to get involved, you can tweet us at the Redmen TV, #fanline with your question. I've got a few to go through today. I'm quite looking forward to this. Lucent Music is saying, fan line, it's a power move. Is it a power move to put chocolate bars in the freezer before eating them? Yes or no? Now, freezer, I'm a little bit surprised at. Fridge, I mean, I can totally take one of these, put it in the fridge and eat it, no qualms. In fact, yeah, I'd be quite happy doing that. Is it a power move to put it in a freezer though? I've honestly got no idea. I wouldn't. But it's totally up to you. I'm damn sure it tastes really good coming out of a fridge, though, anyway. In fact, I'll go with the name. Boris Martinovic has just said, considering we might not see any inbound transfers without selling, is there anyone that could realistically be offloaded ASAP to make room for an impact player in centre-back or striker position? Now, I think the first thing you've got to think of when you're talking about this, Boris, is, have we got those players? Yes, first and foremost. Who's available even if we do offload? Because maybe Liverpool are in a position where they do need to sell to buy. Maybe we've got somebody lined up in case a bid comes in for someone like a Divock Origi. I think Divock's probably the first one, isn't he, where you think to yourself, actually, yeah, we could probably get a bit of money in and get someone through the door. Divock's probably the only one. I think Shaqiri right now is a little bit integral to the midfield because of the defensive issues we've had and everything like that. So Divock, yes. Some people might say Minamino as well. I think it's a little bit too soon. Anyway, we'll move on at LDCC92. Is it time to rest Trent and have Milner coming at right back for a few games? I think Trent's certainly not been in his best form. Nowhere near his best form, to be honest with you. Would I bring James Milner in against Manchester United? No, probably not. Not playing right back. Not with the speed and the pace that they have and the trickery in those wing positions and the ability to hit us on the counter-attack. I'm totally okay with resting Trent for a game here and there. Over the next 5 or 6 games, we've got some really tough games, though. You might have to pick and choose your games wisely if you're going to rest Trent. And finally, from the same fella, actually, or girl, actually, LDCC92, is the lack of transfers a genuine lack of funds or mainly due to our targets not being available until the summer? Well, I don't know. I'm hoping with all of my heart that it's because we are not able to get our proper transfer targets until the summer, and they come in and they massively bolster us and massively improve us. So there you go. That has been our transfer latest, powered by Snickers Protein. Thank you very much to Snickers Protein, of course. Thank you very much for sending your tweets in, everybody. Thank you for joining me live, and we'll see you next time on the Redmen TV.